Genshin Impact. Okay, look, let me show you guys something that's been near and dear to my heart for the past 4.5 goddamn years. Wake up, log in, daily commissions, claim primos, spend resin, log off. Every single day. For 4.5 years since September 2020. At this point, calling it gaming is generous. I've invested so many hours that quitting now feels like admitting to my therapist that they were right. Now listen, I love Genshin. I genuinely do. I've C6'd more characters than I'm comfortably admitting. And no, not C6R5, calm your tits. I'm irresponsible with money, not actively pissing it away. But honestly, I've spent more on virtual pixels than anyone should. Which makes it even sadder logging in nowadays seeing half my friends list dead. Literally a ghost town of accounts abandoned after the dumpster fire called Natlan dropped. I'm kidding, some of them never even made it to Inazuma, which I gotta say was probably when the hype around this game was at an all-time peak. Version 5.0 was supposed to rescue Genshin. Players were begging for real improvements like artifact loadouts, resin overflow, or dialogue skips, literally anything. Instead, Hoyoverse proudly announced a single free 5-star character like they just saw world hunger. Spoiler alert, they didn't. Other games have been giving away characters for free since forever. Doing it now doesn't earn you praise, it earns you pity. And speaking of earning pity, remember the 3 polls or 3 years anniversary disaster? I mean, technically it was 13 polls, but after 3 years of loyalty, that's just sad. Hoyoverse handed players literal crumbs, while competitors handed their players entire cakes. At this point, it's like Hoyoverse actively enjoys mocking their own player base. And Vermilion farming! Holy shit, imagine spending actual years grinding for artifacts only to have Hoyoverse casually piss all over their value overnight. I'm not even a Xiao main, you know, I've been farming Wanderer set since release and I hit top 1% on the leaderboard, but what's the goddamn point of logging in now? I guess I could compete with all the Farina sims to try to crack the top 1%, but I shudder at the thought of that. The cherry on top of this shit Sunday was the birthday mail quality of life update. Birthday mails? Really? Who in their right mind is logging in, sitting down, and genuinely excited to read Bennett's scripted ass happy birthday? Nobody. Literally no human being. That's not a quality of life, that's just a middle finger disguised as an update. Sorry Jenny, I know you love that twink, but I don't care. Back when Genshin launched in September 2020, it literally nuked the gacha scene from orbit. Everyone was crying about the Breath of the Wild clones, but secretly we all knew Genshin was doing something crazy. Insane graphics, huge open world, real-time combat, stuff you never expect from a gacha. It made old games like Fate Grand Order look ancient overnight. And I would be all for a second Fate Grand Order game. It's just, the game is it looks so dated, you know, I can't really get into it. I love the characters, I love the Fate franchise as a whole, but just not for me. But anyways, guess what? It's not 2020 anymore. Hoyoverse got lazy. Like, we're number 1, so screw innovation. But now, we've got actual competitors breathing down our necks. Wuthering Waves, Zenless Sub-Zero, Project Mugen, Girls Frontline 2. Hell, even Honkai Star Rail is doing some cool shit. But I also heard about the Castoris stuff, and you know, I'm not a Honkai player, but having a global buff seems pretty wild. I'm not going to get into that, but you know, they're suffering too, apparently, which is really sad to hear. Also, apparently they haven't been getting as many 4 stars. Anyways, Wuthering Waves literally gives you guaranteed weapons at 80 pulls, and here's Genshin still making you gamble your college fund. I saw a video on Twitter where this guy was so gaslit or so Pavlov trained by Genshin system that he was scared that he was going to miss the 50-50 for the weapon banner. Shout out to all you brave soldiers on YouTube, by the way, that gambled thousands into the weapon banner to help change the system. It's a lot better now, but it's still not the greatest. Yeah. Anyways, back then I couldn't tell anyone IRL that I play Genshin, and now I still can't tell anyone IRL that I play Genshin. We're the laughingstock of the gacha community, and we've been that way for a long time, and it's really sad to see. It took until these new games started dropping for people to realize just how stagnant Genshin has become. Back at the point again, half of my friends literally dropped Natlan after Genshin because the magic from the early regions was gone. I've had friends playing daily since 1.0 finally give up because what's the point of playing anymore? Player retention has fallen off a cliff and Hoyoverse seems fine pretending it isn't happening. The combat events aren't helping either. Oh, the combat events. Okay. Every combat event lately feels designed specifically for whales. Unless you're actively refinancing your mortgage to fund polls, you're screwed out of even basic rewards. Combat events went from potentially fun to whale-only clubs. Oh, you're just mad you couldn't do well in the event. Yeah, well, fuck you. I couldn't even crack the top charts on any of the rankings on my friends list. But this isn't about that, you know? This isn't about that. I'm friends with a ton of whales, you know, it's... Damn it. Anyways, Hoyoverse tried to react late and half-assed with things like Imaginarium Theater, but that wasn't endgame. That was a cry for help. It sucked harder than a toilet in an airplane bathroom. Bloated HP bars don't equal good content, guys. Hoyoverse, please. I'm begging you. Anyone at Hoyoverse, please. And Natlan itself, version 5.0's livestream hyped it like it was the second coming of Jesus. Epic tribal conflicts, intense lore, and Capitano finally appearing. Instead, we got endless unskippable mini cutscenes, forced mechanics, and Capitano was somehow lamer than watching paint dry. I literally had friends quit when Signora died, and I don't know, when people found out Capitano wasn't going to be playable, a lot of friends quit too, but they weren't, and I'll be fair, they weren't very invested in Genshin at all, but they were going to come back because of Capitano, and you know, based on the current situation of the story, doesn't look like he's going to be playable at all, which is really sad. And Hoyoverse shamelessly dangles the Harbingers like Arlecchino as player bait. I've got two buddies who genuinely C6 R5 turn, let's be honest. These Harbingers are probably the only reason anyone is bothering to log in. I'm not really interested in any of the new characters as of late. You know, Natlan didn't just disappoint, it belly flopped off a cliff. Characters disconnected from the setting, exploration locked behind gacha, motorcycles randomly thrown into a fantasy world because Breath of the Wild's fruit power bike was apparently justified. No shade on Breath of the Wild, but please. Natlan was a mess, and player retention tanked accordingly. We're 4.5 years in, and Genshin still hasn't added artifact loadouts, resin overflow, dialogue skipped, or even removed daily gated domains. Hoyoverse acts like they're still top dog, but they're not. Players have better options now, and Genshin's refusal to evolve is killing the game. Genshin still has the potential to be amazing, but Hoyoverse actually has to try. Players deserve better than logging in purely from habit. Competitors aren't just catching up, they're surpassing Genshin outright. If they don't evolve soon, Snezhnaya might arrive too late to matter. Maybe I'll play ZZ or Wuwa. I'm sure the community won't be maybe I'll play ZZ or Wuwa. I'm sure the community won't be as insufferable as Genshin Twitter. Anyways, that's my caffeine-fueled TED Talk disguised as a Genshin rant. Smash subscribe or don't. I'm not your dad. Over half of my subs are dead because all I used to do was post anime clips on the short page. But hey, if you stuck around this long, thank you for watching. See you next time.